So yo, this is the iPhone 14 Pro after 6 months review. Let's go. The iPhone 14 Pro was announced last September 7, 2022 and was released on September 16, 2022. So we got my iPhone 14 Pro on October 10, 2022. So after 6 months of using this iPhone 14 Pro, here are my thoughts on iPhone 14 Pro. So we will talking about 5 things. First is the design, the performance, the new features, the battery, and of course, the cameras. This is the third generation of iPhone that has flat edges, stainless steel frame, a textured matte glass at the back, the same design from iPhone 12 and 13 Pros, a super premium looking phone, and my favorite iPhone design. And this iPhone 14 Pro is the first iPhone to have dynamic island, a feel like cut out from the screen instead of a notch. And this is the first iPhone to have an always-on display and 48 megapixel main camera sensor. Powered by Apple A16 Bionic, you cannot go wrong with the performance. One of the best chipset until this date. You cannot rival the A16 Bionic in terms of performance, power, and efficiency. You can do any heavy tasks like gaming, photo, and video editing without any problem. I can remember any lag or hang while using this phone. One of the best chipset that Apple made. So let's only talk about the dynamic island and the always-on display. Okay, first is the dynamic island. You can see your alerts, notification, ongoing background activity like songs that you are currently playing and other software related. But for me, I didn't use or capitalize the promising features of the dynamic island. For me, this is like a gimmick just to differentiate the iPhone 14 Pro from 13 Pro. Now for the always-on display. Finally, the iPhone has an always-on display, but more of the users are so disappointed because this is not the always-on display that they are wanted or expected. When it first came out, when you turn on your always-on display, the iPhone 14 Pro dims the screen and still you can see your background or wallpaper. Then after some software updates, Apple put an option to turn off the wallpaper. So now you can only see the time, date, and notifications. But for me, since I don't even care and never use an always-on display feature, so this is no big deal for me. Okay, one of the best selling point of the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is the very good battery life. You can spend your day without thinking for your iPhone 14 Pro will run out of juice. I can go 6 to 7 hours screen on time with this phone. One of the best battery life of the flagship phone until this date. Mine has 100% battery health after 6 months of using it. But from my experience, I think my last year iPhone 13 Pro has better battery life than my iPhone 14 Pro. A massive jump from 12 megapixel to 48 megapixel on the main camera sensor, so you can achieve a stunning mirrorless like photos, a super sharp 4K video up to 60 fps, and we still have a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens with autofocus, one of my favorite lenses to film my vlog. Plus a 12 megapixel 3x telephoto lens that can capture a very good portrait photos, and the upgraded 12 megapixel front-facing camera now with autofocus. So with this set of cameras, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max is still one of the best smartphone camera until this date. With iPhone 14 Pro, now you can shoot 4K up to 30 fps cinematic mode, And we have the new action mode up to 2.8K at 60 FPS. My favorite feature and so useful for me is the front-facing camera because now it has autofocus. So now I can vlog using the front-facing camera. So yo, what's up? This is the video sample of the front-facing camera with autofocus. Ooh. And with the audio sample. Oh. Okay, but there is a big problem with this main 48 megapixel camera, and this is the minimum focus distance. I don't have the exact numbers, but I found myself taking a photo from the thing that I was holding from far away. This is so frustrating to me because I'm only using my iPhone camera for my thumbnails for my YouTube channel. So overall, this iPhone 14 Pro is still one of the best flagship out there. The battery life is insane, the performance is still one of the best, and of course, the best camera system, especially on video. You will never go wrong if you are considering the iPhone 14 Pro as your new smartphone, and I still highly recommend this phone. So there you have it, our review on the iPhone 14 Pro after 6 months of usage. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. From Oman, my name is Rizal. Thanks for watching.